Hi, I am Pratim Ranjan Bose, and you are watching Podcast with Pratim, presented by Iravati Research and Communication Center, or IRCC. In this episode, we will discuss Bangladesh. I have with me Professor Lieutenant Colonel Nazmul Hassan Kalimullah from Bangladesh. Dr. Kalimullah is the founder chairman of National Election Observer Council, or JANIPOP. He is also a former vice chancellor of the Begum Rokeya University. Welcome to the show, Professor.
Thank you.
Sir, what's happening in Bangladesh is very peculiar ways of doing things. Awami League's political activities are banned, but it was banned in a very interesting circumstances that like an ordinance was issued to amend the Anti-Terror Act, and the organization was asked not to pursue its political activities under the act. I mean, so it means that it was applied with retrospective effect. Another ordinance was issued to amend the International Crimes Tribunal Act 1973 to conduct trial of the organization. There is no case against Awami League in the ICT now, so fresh cases will be filed, and League is banned from electoral politics till the ICT trials are over. Now, I'm stopping short of saying what the outside world should think about such a very peculiar instance of lawmaking and law application. But what is your opinion, sir? What's happening over there? Over to you.
Well, Bangladesh at the moment can be compared as a ship which has entered into an uncharted territory, and each and every sector is in a topsy-turvy situation, because after 5th of August, what we are experiencing is unprecedented, cannot be compared what we are familiar with. After all, it was a revolution, and post-revolution scenario is supposed to be like this. The dust has not settled yet, and everything is going on an ad hoc basis. And with reference to this ban on Awami League's activities till the process is over, it's actually got precedence from the last few days of Awami rule. Just before losing the grip, Awami League government issued similar ban on Jamaat-e-Islami and its student front Islami Chhatra Shibir. And from a democratic perspective, plural space must be upheld. If you put a ban or ask a particular organization to cease its activities, it's like trying to confine the domain of democracy. You see, the more space you give, it's better. The less is available is not a sign of good health in terms of political affairs of the country. And Bangladesh is almost the crossroad. The revolutionaries, they want to come up with a new charter which might replace the existing amended constitution. And if that happens, because the demand is that it must be done within 30 days of when they started their agitation lately. So, by putting a ban on the activities till the trial is over, the nodding has been given from the government on its part to the revolutionaries that your charter of demand will be fulfilled, and it's just the beginning. So, if this process continues unabated, then what will happen? You know, uh, with the change of the present scenario, i.e., the change of constitutional arrangement, will pave the way for the removal of His Excellency the President of the country, and might even pave the way for uh, easing out the Chief of Army Staff from his present position, along with his colleagues in Navy and Air Force.
Now, I have a question here. I remember there was these students, so-called quote unquote. They gave a call for the Charter of Revolution. I think the date was they had a meeting also scheduled on December 31st, if I'm not wrong. And it was cancelled at the last moment.
Right.
Now, all this happened after, naturally, the demand for this charter came after the US election. That's a
Right.
coincidence. The issue is clear. Not many, you referred it as a revolution, though not many of even the supporters of the government do refer it as a revolution. They refer it as an uprising. Fair enough, whichever is true. But if they wanted that way, that they would have their own charter of demands, their own charter of revolution, why didn't they place it in the beginning? And then why didn't they put up a revolutionary government? Why did they come through this route of, very, very, I should say, the whole setup is not pseudo legal. Kind of a pseudo approval is there on the whole system. Why chief advisor? Why not someone, whatever, and some other designation could have been there. The president had always been a titular head in a Westminster style democracy, but over the last 9 months, he had nothing to do excepting just giving a rubber stamp. That's all. In fact, people from the ministry have raided the presidential palace and brought down the photo of the then father of the nation. He was yet to be removed as the father of the nation then, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. So his photo was brought down, and all these things happened. So why so late? Why are they doing it now? Why not? Why didn't they start it early? That would have expressed their that would have probably put a little more credibility on their identity and intentions in the first place.
I think they prefer to pursue a trial and error style, you see, uh, learning by doing, kind of on the job style. And there are diverse elements, you know, uh, all the forces which were against Sheikh Hasina and her government, they sort of rubbed shoulders with each other, and they jumped into this bandwagon. So as soon as the goal was accomplished after 5th of August, there was no government till 8th of August. So there was a lull period, and on 8th of August, Nobel laureate Professor Dr. Yunus took oath as the head of the second interim government, the history of Bangladesh, and advisors, it is believed, were handpicked and were recommended either by the student coordinators via Professor Asif Nazrul from Dhaka University, uh, via the army chief, and also by Professor Yunus himself. So this team from three sources sort of joined hand in hand and started the journey. And Professor Yunus himself stated that he has been requested by around 6 student revolutionaries who led the movement to take over the government, and he complied with. And he has come up with a lot of people who has been given the status of state minister or deputy minister, or for that matter, senior secretary, and so on, to perform different assignments. Quite a few dual nationals, either from United States of America or United
I would like
Kingdom.
to stop you here. We know that this government came on the back of the promise to restore democratic values, and we are aware that you have rightly pointed out that Hasina excluded Jamaat from the political space through an executive order, though the electoral exclusion from electoral space took place through the court. That happened through a court verdict in 2013. But they were banned from political space right before her ouster through an executive order. This is correct. So Hasina took 15 years to do that, if I look at it this way. Now, here we are seeing the same footsteps. I mean, or are we seeing the same footsteps in barely 9 months? And then can we say that that democratic values are being restored? Since you are an election observer, so basic democratic values, how do you justify that 4 crores of 4 or 3 or whatever crores of Awami League voters? Jamaat at least was a sidekick in the electoral politics. They barely had 4% votes. But here, someone with in the last time they had a very bad election was in 2001, and they got 40% vote. Let's, for argument's sake, assume that they have a minimum of 25% votes, core votes. So it means that you are actually robbing the. It might mean that you are robbing the democratic choice of 1/4 of your electorate. Should I be wrong in assuming that?
Not necessarily, because, it's just other way around. What happened with reference to 2014, 2018, and 2024 general elections, we are sort of in a position that opposition political parties who were opposed to Awami League, they refrained to join the process in 2014 with the sort of mainstream political party, namely BNP and its allies, even tried to resist the conduction of election with reference to 2014. In 2018, they joined. However, they started.
The election was rigged, heavily rigged.
Well, yes, and they started complaining from the very start. And although they had around 7 member of parliaments, and they continued to perform, take part in the debates and things like that. And at the fag end, they decided to quit. And with reference to 2024 7th January election, uh, they all boycotted. So, in that sense, you know, the people who do not like Awami League, and in a way they were not represented in this process in the parliament. So now, if you put a ban finally on Awami League or come up with a verdict like that, that for 3 consecutive elections, Awami League will be barred from taking part in the process, similar charges can be brought against the arrangement. So, you know,
Did they
if
ban
you
Awami League for three
look at the
consecutive elections? I don't think so.
might,
Okay.
that's my apprehension
Okay.
that if they do not put a permanent ban, they might come up with similar proposals, what I uttered just now.
Right now,
So
though, it is said that until the trials are over.
even after the trial is over, they might come up with such verdict or edict or ordinance that for 3 consecutive terms, they might be barred from taking part in elections. So it's really a long-run process.
Okay. So basically, you are saying that, I mean, probably you are saying what I said, in another fashion only, is that what happened in the past about half of the political parties staying out of the electoral election.
Yeah.
Now one is forced out of the election. That is the only difference. So the
Right.
democracy remained where it was, uh, if you call it a democracy that way.
I would say it's a flawed democracy, uh, you know, and also illiberal democracy.
Did you say fraud? Flawed.
Flawed.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, democracy was referred as a flawed tool. Sir, let's move on to the more critical issues at this moment.
Right.
Now, the government is working in a particular fashion. It is widely assumed that the NCP is a political arm of the government.
In a
And
way,
they are raising the demand, and the government is accepting it in lightning speed. Why this is so? Then why the government is not saying, why NCP is, I mean, why a facade is being created that NCP is out of the government? It is very much in the government. So the government is demanding, government is obliging. Is that the case? Is that the case?
well, it is supposed to be an interim uh, independent government, not a party government, or for that matter, it
That
doesn't
is what Dr.
represent.
Yunus said in his interview to
Yes,
Nurul Kabir in
that's
January.
right. That's right. And here, that Professor Yunus uh, is the best marketing man of Bangladesh. He is the only Nobel laureate in the country and son of the soil too. However, he arrived here like Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini from France and took over the helm of affairs in his style. And he thinks that uh, it's a revolutionary government, and it was his dream to form a political party long ago. He couldn't do that because of a lot of limitations. Now, when the students decided to launch this party, he blessed them, number one. And maybe he thought that it's an opportunity on his part to make his dream come true by them. So, with the passage of time, if the party can consolidate, because this reform effort is a time-consuming process, then piloting with reference to local level elections, that might also take some time, and then this issue of trial. You all know that justice hurried, justice buried. So it might be a long run process. And then, you know, with reference to elections, uh, he and his colleagues never explicitly spelled out, what type of election, whether it is a general election, parliament election, or referendum, or a constituent assembly election, who knows? So maybe at the end of the tunnel, i.e., June 2026, we may find that uh, his promised election may be revealed as referendum.
Okay. Jamaat has already demanded a referendum on this issue of July charter. Now, let me join two specific statements of you. One, you just said that you equated Dr. Yunus with his arrival and assuming power with Ayatollah Khomeini of Iran. And secondly, you said that within this July charter will be coming within a month, right? And you said that the next steps now having it had three, four demands. One of them, the biggest one, is already done. Awami League is banned, and you are left with removal of president. These were the demands of the July charter originally in December. So president is removed, army chief is removed, and there is a revolutionary government in place. I don't know whether they will call a revolutionary government or not. So the question is to join all this together. Are we going to see a silent revolution in Bangladesh? This is a second revolution, right? Or it is going to be a serious confrontation for power. This is almost, and whether there will be, the constituents within the government are unanimous about it. Over to you, sir.
Well, what is apprehended is that, this deadline, 30 days, is knocking at the door. Already almost a week or so has passed away. And, the situation is almost like eyeball to eyeball. Either or. Either Professor Yunus and his team would prevail, or President Shahabuddin Chuppu and Poster General and his colleagues would prevail. The situation is almost like that. You cannot go on shoulder to shoulder in this process for long. The accommodation so far was like that, but there is limit to everything, you see. you simply cannot reconcile two opposite camps in this fashion for long.
Right. That's a very loaded statement. I believe that the situation has come to a crossroad or something much bigger than that. And all, I don't know, from outside, probably all we have to watch out is whether this is going to be a silent, whether there will be a silent or peaceful resolution to things. Thank you, sir. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Thank you.